You made a roster move yesterday with Peter Laviolette on waivers. Just what kind of went into that decision?
It was just a hockey decision. I mean, it's, you're allowed so many players up here, and so it was just a decision that was made.
What made Edstorm, I guess, the guy that you were willing to?
The season that he's had, the training camp he had, the way he came in, the way he impressed us up here. He's a big, young, fast, strong player that we feel deserves a look in some games, and so that's where the decisions come in and makes it a little bit more difficult. But we're excited to get him going, and it's been off for a while. So I think just the more he practices, the more he plays, the quicker he can get up to speed here. Thought he played a pretty good game though.
Do you feel like from what you've seen from him that he may have been here sooner if not for the injury that he sustained?
Yeah, I mean, I think there would have been opportunity for him to be here, but that's just part of the business.
Because you're local in the next few games, does that make it easier if you do stick with 12 forwards, or do you think you're going to have to add an extra?
We've managed that the entire year, so there's been things that are happening to make sure that we're good up here with what we're doing, and yet we're still developing players or getting what we need from the days off that we have. So I don't think it'll change from what we've been doing here in the last couple months.
It wasn't that long ago, game up in Montreal. Just your thoughts about facing them now there, right?
Well, I mean, it was the beginning of January. It wasn't a great month for us, and so that game obviously didn't go the way we wanted it to on the scoreboard. There was a lot of good things we did inside the game. Our goaltender played a heck of a game that night, and but we were left on the short end of the stick, and chance to right or wrong tomorrow.
The Brodzinski line.
Yeah.
Where do you see them falling into a niche? Some lines, checking lines,
Yeah.
energy lines, scoring lines.
Yeah.
When you throw them out, what do you expect from them? What do you think their role is?
I think they're part of a four-line rotation. Parts of that line are used on special teams. From a identity and what they are, I think they've got to build that and create that too, for me to come out and say that they're a checking line or an offensive line. What I can tell you is that in the last probably 6 out of 7 games, they've been a noticeable, impactful line offensively. So they're playing good hockey, good two-way hockey. You don't have to be an offensive line, you don't have to be a defensive defenseman. You can just be a good line or a good player. They seem to be a good line. They take the puck, they possess it, they bring it into the offensive zone, and they've been producing points for us. And so for me, it's been really positive in the fact that it gives, I think they're probably getting confidence from that. I'm getting confidence from that as the coach that they seem to be doing a good job by all accounts. The numbers look good. My eyes say that they look good when they're on the ice, and then they're scoring goals and they're making a difference inside the game. So right now they're just becoming a dependable two-way line that's producing some offense for us.
Do you think they're earning more ice time, or is it sort of a cap because of the high level guys you have?
They're earning more ice time. Even last game against, it was times when I threw them out there on a third shift, and you jump the rotation or you just get them back out there. I do think that they're playing well enough, and they're creating and they're scoring goals for us, and so they find a little bit more ice time. But in the same sense, you have a line that you're putting out against other teams' top line or defensive zones. You got the other two lines that you're delegating some heavier minutes to, and so there is a balance there as well. But I do think that this down the stretch here, to try and get a roll on that bench, especially teams always knocks that out of balance as well. That adjusts people's minutes. If you don't, guys that, if it's heavy penalties both sides, and the guys that are on both units, their numbers get up into the 20s, 22, 23 minutes. Conversely, if you're not in that situation where you're touching the units, your numbers can drop. But I think ideally it would be great to have a real role on the bench and just utilize the entire bench.
To go back to Edstorm for a second, during games, how much are you leaning on Jimmy and Bartley to kind of teach him what you want to get done, what you want to accomplish?
Yeah, I think it's going to be learn on the fly for him as well. Not learn on the fly, but just get accustomed to adjusting to the speed of the game, the the skill that's on the ice, the physicality, and I think he's able to handle all of it just with he's a physical presence out there. He's got great reach. He's an excellent skater. And I think he can fit right into that role with those guys and become a really good line for us. So I do rely on both the players that you mentioned are veteran players, and so their communication to him, I think, inside of the game when they come back to the bench and they talk to him, I think that's really important as well.
You guys have been top 5 in power play for the season, but so does that make it any harder to wrap your head around the stretch that you guys are in right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think stretches are always challenging. They're always topics of discussion, and I can tell you that I've got a tremendous amount of confidence in the guys that are on the ice. Like anything, there's a funk that can go on. Our job is to figure out the funk, and I have a tremendous confidence in the guys that we will. They're talented players. They've been together a long time, and we got to work our way out of it.
You warned us the other day that what we saw in practice might not stick, or you weren't sure yet.
Yeah.
We saw it early in the game and then you went back. I mean,
Yeah.
is in your mind, I guess, that you're always probably going to end up back at where it was when it was at its height?
I think that the guys that took us to the numbers that you're talking about are the guys the ones that should be out there. But we do need things to happen too inside of that. And that's why you look at it and you say, well, maybe we'll just change it for a game and see where it goes. But those players are the players that are, the guys that should be on the ice to try and make a difference. They've had a ton of success. They've had success for us this year. We got to get them back on track.